was a lot longer than I thought it would be. Okay. Welcome to the Targeted Podcast. I am Sahid. That's Nicholas. And let me go ahead and apologize at the beginning of this in the sense that I still have the previous title of Queen Elizabeth's passing on here. I'll have to go back and correct it all on our streams.
Yo, get it together, man.
No, whatever. Screw
Get
you.
it together.
So what we get for missing a week, right? You out of practice. All right. Cool, man. How's life treating you, man?
3-0, right?
Okay.
And yeah, it's like, I mean, if you've been following the podcast, if you know me at all, diehard Eagles fan. Diehard Eagles fan. All right. I got the hat. I got the cup. My walls are painted green. Okay.
Was it because of that? The Eagles?
Absolutely.
Wow.
So yeah, y'all can expect some sort of Eagles attire, at a minimum the hat, just about every week, especially if we win.
Okay. Good stuff.
The other big piece of news, I mean, obviously this doesn't go together at all, right? But word on the street is Wolverine's going to be in Deadpool 3.
I just saw that like 2 minutes ago. I was gonna like put that on, but it's good. It's good that you caught that. Yeah.
I got my ears to the streets, man. Ears to the streets.
I hear ya. Cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm excited to see that. So we'll see how that works a little bit. Deadpool's been like a pretty good movie. It's on Disney Plus, by the way.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. It looks like they had to kind of slowly integrate it in a little bit, so we could, get some of the more, how can I say this? More
mature content, man. That's
well, I was gonna say some of the more conservative viewers of Disney Plus might not like it as much, right? With them coming in, but yeah, cool. So let's go ahead and let's get back into it. Let's just start. Let's just go.
Let's dive in.
So, right. Thank you guys for watching. Welcome to Talking Podcast. I am Sahid. That is Nicholas. Like us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. We're streaming all of those places right now.
Spotify,
this minute.
Google Podcasts.
Yeah.
Out there, man.
Check us where you're getting your podcast. Are we caught up on like a podcast?
You mean posting episodes?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to finish that this week.
This dude right here, you get it together.
You know, it's funny. I was gonna do that yesterday, actually.
What happened was,
and as soon as I had Adobe Premiere open. As soon as I went to like start fooling around with it, the baby gets brought to me. So that was the end of that.
Wife's like, here.
We do it to each other. I'm done.
This is enough. Was your wife like, look what you did to me?
Definitely. I've had that conversation several times, but she's happy. So
sure.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
You know, whose significant other isn't happy right now. Neil Long. Let's get into it. Boom.
True.
Yeah. So my transitions are amazing, by the way. Anyway, so if you have not heard, right, for those of you who aren't basketball fans or who haven't really understood seeing what's going on, Ime Udoka. So let's actually rewind a little bit. Nicholas and I had a bet a couple months ago when the Warriors and Celtics won the championship. I thought the Celtics were going to win. Nicholas bet on the Warriors, and he got lucky and he won. I'm kidding. The Warriors is that team.
Still drinking
Warriors
that bottle,
is that
by
team.
the way.
Super happy. Yeah, well, enjoy it. Hope you choke on it. kidding. I'm kidding. Also, I forgot to mention, hearts out to people in Florida going through Hurricane Ian right now. Um,
Prayers up, man, for sure.
yeah, a friend of mine, her parents are retired in Florida. They decided not to evacuate. Um, as someone who is born and raised in Louisiana, I understand how hard it could be to leave your home, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, I get that. So back to this. Yeah, so I bet on Celtics. Um, Nicholas built on the Warriors. Ime Udoka was the head coach of the Boston Celtics, right?
Yep.
Is the head coach of the Boston Celtics currently. So it doesn't seem like he only lost the championship. He probably lost a bag too because he got suspended for a season next season. Why did he get
Yep.
suspended? Well, he was caught um, cheating on his fiance with a member of the Celtics organization, right? The Celtics organization caught wind of this. They has since then suspended him for a year, right? His wife, or excuse me, his fiance for 10 years is the beautiful, ageless Nia Long, right? She has been in Fresh Prince of Bel Air. She has been in Friday. She
Love
has
Jones.
been Love Jones. Yeah, she's been around, right? Very beautiful woman, ageless wonder. Like I was looking at like her Instagram a couple days ago. Like it's amazing that she's in her 50s and just looks amazing.
Hmm.
Um, but anyway, he was caught cheating on his wife with a staff member of the Celtics. Now the story is that it's consensual, right? Um, and that in itself kind of has its own little meaning that we'll kind of get into a little bit as there. But like year suspension, we don't know if he still has a job yet. So we kind of have to. Oh, something else too. Apparently, Nia Long and him were looking for houses in Boston, right? That's
Hmm.
where he's coaching. Boston is probably one of the more racist cities in America, unfortunately.
I
I
wouldn't live there.
mean, yeah, history wise. Um, ask any NBA player. I was thinking about this kind of prior to like the show. Like there have been some like stories of like Boston as a city of like of what they've done. I'm not gonna get into that, but like
Hmm.
apparently they were looking to buy a house together in Boston. Apparently she followed him to San Antonio and
I
Boston.
mean, they've been
So
together
it's
for 10
amazing.
years. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yeah.
So she was floored by this apparently. Obviously, they've asked for like her privacy because she's a mother, both X, Y, and Z. But yeah, I've spoken enough on this. I have more thoughts in this later, but definitely want to hear your 2 cents on this.
First of all, I was shocked, right, to hear the news or whatever, because I mean,
Yeah,
I would never cheat on Nia Long.
I know, right?
uh, well,
That's
let's
that's
start
that's a
there,
hard pill right
right?
there. It's like Neil Long.
Because the first thing I thought of was those lyrics off that Jay Z song. Don't ever be Eric Benet. I was almost Eric Benet, something along those lines. You know what I'm saying? Because
Well,
Eric Benet cheated on Halle Berry, right?
yeah. Well, what's funny about that though is that Jay Z did cheat on Beyonce. She actually made a whole album about it.
Sure. I mean, he had to make an album to address it too, right?
Yeah,
But this is, I mean, obviously, like it's inexcusable. I mean, what he did. But what bothers me is the way the Celtics organization has handled this thing. Like
mhm,
something like this happens in an organization, okay? Um, and somehow like the news leaks out, and now like there's just crazy stories out, about who the woman is, could be,
yeah,
is she married? People's information is getting released,
yeah,
and I mean, I feel like the Celtics organization kind of fumbled this one a little bit, right? I feel like if they had just gotten out in front of it, hey, one of our coaches had an affair with, a staff member. I mean, I'm not sure. And some stories say she's a staff member, others say she's an executive.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then it's just like, what are the rules? You know what I mean? Either if it's something that isn't allowed, why wasn't he just fired? Why is he being suspended for a year?
That's
Why
a good
drag it
point.
out? Right?
That's a good point right there. Like if it's against your code of conduct, right? This is different from like a guy who's owning the team. So uh the Phoenix Suns, they're themselves in a situation where their owner was caught just saying a bunch of racist stuff, right?
Yep, we'll get to
Um
him.
yeah. And he's gonna sell the team. But yeah. No, this is interesting too. One of the things that I wanted to talk about too is about the idea of consent. And what you're saying isn't wrong. With kind of where we are as a society, a lot of us we just kind of want to just get the news and we want to speculate and conspiracies and all that stuff and like hot takes is a thing right in our society. Um, I'm gonna give a shout out quickly to Emily Kaplan on ESPN because I was watching this the other day, and she kind of made a very strong point about the idea of consent. Because when the story came out about consent, right, like this was a consensual relationship, right? I was thinking to myself, well, he's ethically wrong, but was this like illegal to do? Like, unless they have bylaws saying, hey, you can't have any relations with anyone in the organization. Um, and then she kind of came out and was, and I watched the show Around the Horn, and she made like a very great point about the idea of consent, where when is consent not really consent, right? This is when do our power dynamics at play here, for example, right? Let's look at you're an engineer, I'm an engineer, right? How many times have you been in a situation where you're almost forced to give a deadline that was almost impossible to make, right? Because of certain power dynamics where you kind of is your hand is forced, right? You consent to it, right, but not really. Same thing with Bill Clinton, right? So, was it Watergate or Waterfall? I think no Whitewater. I'm sorry, the Whitewater investigation, right? Uh, where he had relations with the office intern, right? Monica Lewinsky. She fell in love with her boss, right? And gave they performed she performed a sexual act on him. This guy is the most powerful man in the world, right? He should have known better, right? I mean, you can't just say it's consent. So
I don't know
I
about
thought that was
that,
a pretty
man.
interesting aspect, I
I'm
think.
sorry. I don't I don't know about that, man. This is I have an issue. I kind of have an issue with that, man. It's like now, it's almost like there's no such thing as consent. Like it's always, you know what I mean? Like if you look at the the what you were saying about like the engineering thing or whatever, like yes, I mean I've definitely been pressured to do that, right?
Yeah.
But that's a lot. A few nights of stress to get something done. It's a lot different than you know giving up
Yeah.
some part of your body, right?
Yeah, it's definitely not a it's a
So
definitely not equivalent scenarios. Yeah, sure. I'll
yeah.
give you that.
But just this my issue is that, and I think there's another ESPN analyst I was speaking on this too. I think her name is Malika Andrews, right?
Oh,
She made some
yes.
headlines about this because she got into it with Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins. And basically, she was trying to say that, oh, you should stop pointing the fingers at these women, and putting all that out there. And but basically, like Stephen A. and Kendrick were both trying to say, like, yes, we understand, like Ime Udoka, like should be fired. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like it still takes two to tango, right? So what happens to the person on the other side of this?
Yeah.
You're saying it's a consent. The report says it was a consensual relationship. He didn't, you know what I mean? So the report supposedly like this the other person in the situation isn't getting in trouble at all. Meanwhile, this guy gets vilified for
Well,
having an affair, right?
we don't know. We don't know, right?
So
We don't know exactly who this person is,
right, but
where they are in the
I don't
organization.
agree with like vilifying one side and the person on the other side, just being made look like the victim just because it's a woman,
Well,
and you know what I mean, like
but we don't know who the person is, right? If it's like a VP, like then yeah, that's effed up, right? Um, but if this is like a staffer, so apparently this is kind of an FYI. This is someone who has helped um, Ime Udoka and Nia Long plan her trips, right?
Yes.
Moving
Yes.
around. So that's what has been said, right? So I'm assuming this person's not like an executive person, but like a lower level, like a personal assistant, whatever, right? Um, who probably is just kind of just doing her job, doesn't have the money or prestige as Ime Udoka or any of the Celtic staff does. So we don't know if she is or isn't being punished. We honestly don't know. We don't know. Um,
I'm pretty sure they said in the press conference that she's not.
I don't think they said
I have
anything
to go
about her.
back and check the press conference, but I think they
Yeah,
alluded to that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
But
think they're
even
saying
if
anything.
she, again, if you're, I find it difficult. I guess I find it difficult to understand, right? Because if somebody was, if there was a woman executive trying to come at me like that, and then saying, if you don't do it, then I'm just going to tell your wife that you have been, ruin your career, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
I'm going to blast her for it. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Well,
Definitely going to tell
what's
my
interesting
wife, like,
too.
hey, like, just so you know, something's going to come out. Nothing's happened. I mean, you have to get in, you have to get in front of it, right?
Yeah.
So I just there's been a lot of what I don't like about the situation is very quickly became like a man versus woman thing, right?
Yeah.
Which I didn't, this you have Malika Andrews basically on online, it's like kind of talking like that, trying to make it like the woman was the victim just automatically. It's just like there's a lot more to it than just who's the
Mhm.
victim and who's the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
Ime Udoka was obviously wrong for having an affair in the Celtics organization. He should be fired, right? But I just don't
Yeah.
think that like why is all the focus just on him as the bad guy and
Mhm.
the other party is still there. You said it was consensual. That's been the whole thing. So I mean,
Yeah. But then again, it's about that. It goes back to what is consent, right? Um, I think consent isn't as black and white as we want it to be. When I first initially saw it, thought about it, I was like, well, it's consensual. These are two consensual adults, right? Like, what's the
hmm
problem? But after that explanation, I was like, okay, I'm I have a better understanding now. And again, there's so much that we don't know. I don't know what the
sure.
Celtics organization could have done to make it any better. um,
Well, I mean, I just
and
think that they could have gotten out of when something like this happens, right? They
yeah,
could have come out in front of this a lot better than they did. I mean, you have all these leaks, you have all these,
yeah,
you know, um, just rumors out there.
yeah,
Give the people the fact. Give people the facts. You see, it's out there. Just go ahead and like, hey,
yeah.
boom, boom. I mean, obviously, you weren't afraid to put the coach's name out there, right?
Uh,
So I
I
mean,
think so. I would
blow
argue
his,
this. This is what I'll argue, right, against that. If the woman that he cheated on with was an executive, right, somebody higher up in the organization, right, then they both should have known better, right? He's gonna be fine, right, regardless, right? Even if he loses his job as the Celtics coach, give it a year or so, he should have another job, right? Because he is a solid coach, right? I say that because Colin Kaepernick should be in the NFL right now, and that's not the case, but that's a
black
different
coach in
case.
a professional sports league. Good luck.
Yeah, yeah. I had to like
His
rethink. I had to rethink that. I had to
arguably
rethink
his
that for a
joint is
second.
over too. You know what I'm
Huh?
saying?
What?
It's a wrap for this dude. I mean,
Ah,
I'd be
maybe I'm
surprised
being
if
foolish in thinking that he will coach again sometime in the
he might
future.
be a coach, but a head coach. Yeah,
Yeah, but again, his life isn't over,
and
right?
and
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 he makes millions of
immediately,
dollars. He's made millions of dollars in his career. He's
sure.
fine. If this person is just his personal assistant who doesn't have the money or prestige that he has, then you should keep like her private because like she won't be able to get another job again, right? That's gonna follow her for the rest of her life, right? As a homewrecker. So again, it depends on like where this person is in the organization. I believe like if this person is again an executive or an executive's wife, then yeah, you better like speak that shit, right? If not, right? If you're just a kind of a low level person or a cheerleader, for God's sake, or like one of those situations, then like I'm okay with having some level of empathy, even if it is consensual, whatever that level of consensuality is. But that's just
Yeah.
me on that.
It's a tough call, man. But I
Yeah, it
still,
is a tougher call. It is a tougher call.
it's a tough call, bro.
I see your point too. Like, I what where is consent? Like, if it's truly consensual, where she wasn't forced, and maybe if she was the instigator, then she should probably kind of bear some of like the trouble in
She,
that.
she's
But
protected at
like,
that point.
we
Like,
really don't know. We really don't know. So all we're doing right now is kind of just speculating,
oh yeah,
kind of
yeah,
around
sure.
this situation. So it's an interesting thing to talk about. Um, no less. But yeah, absolutely. Okay. Uh, next topic. You want to hit up the Suns org?
So which one
Yeah,
now?
the Suns organization. You said we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, go ahead and hit that.
I didn't plan on talking about it, but you
Oh,
brought it up.
I didn't
So
either, but I was just like,
I didn't read enough to talk about it. To be honest with you, I just heard owner said some racist shit. It's like has some very strong Don Sterling vibes, right?
yeah,
Remember that
that's
situation? Um,
that's the essence of it.
yeah.
That's someone who's using their power to get over, right? Because
Mhm.
he tried to come across and just be like, oh, it's just my sense of humor and people need to
Yeah, they
lighten
tried to.
up. I was like that this is an example of somebody using their power to get over, right? Like
Yeah,
it's just like, dude, you don't get a pass for this shit.
yeah. Oh,
What are you
trust me.
what are you
I've
talking about?
made race-based jokes that are much less offensive than him. And I've had people be like, "Why is it gotta be like a bunch of white people, of course? Why is it gotta be about race?" Da, 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 da. Like I get reprimanded for stupid fuck shit like that. That's nothing nearly as bad as what he said. Not even close, right? Um, it's not like I'm like making any derogatory comments, just like pointing out that like stereotypes and like still like that's not even what he did is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I did want to point out one other thing too. I forgot to mention this during the Ime Udoka situation. Um, Deshaun Watson only got suspended for 12 weeks. For 6 weeks and then 12
For sexual assault.
of 25.
This was
25.
I mean, what's the look at the
25.
difference here, man. It's out of control. And this dude
Yeah,
is
I just wanted
suspended
to
for
point
a
that
year
out. I
for a
forgot to point that out.
consensual
I was like,
relationship.
what?
That's why I kind of just roll my eyes at it, man. It's just like, dude, if you know,
This is why the NFL ain't shit, man. Like you need to have some little cognitive dissonance to like really like follow the NFL. I get it. Like yeah. I definitely don't follow it as much the NFL as much as I used to. Um, though the Saints we play you guys by the way the Saints they'll probably lose. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
They're not looking too good right now. But yeah, we'll see about that. Cool. Let's hit up our next topic. Which is what the hell is our next topic?
These idiots flying
Immigration.
these immigrants up to Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah,
Um,
this was gotten from Texas, by the way, because they were busing people to DC, right? And DC was getting overloaded with like all of like using all the services and whatnot, right? Um, I
I
have
mean,
two aspects of
it's
this.
been several governors has done this. So first you have
Oh yeah,
Ron DeSantis
absolutely.
of Florida.
Hmm.
He flies these folks up to Martha's Vineyard, and what's sad is that like the political parties are like using these people as
Oh yeah, they're
pawns
fun.
in these
Yeah,
schemes, right? I mean,
yeah.
how sick is that?
Just
Let's just
to
talk about
troll,
that, right?
to troll.
Like, I'm
Like
sorry that you are running a state where a lot of immigrants come to, because guess what? We're the closest one,
yeah,
right? I mean, the simple geography, man. You can't be mad
yeah,
about that shit.
yeah.
And then, I
Well,
mean, supposedly it's to because they're upset about how the feds are handling immigration and stuff like that. But I mean,
yeah.
You gotta do better, man. This is petty. It's really
Yeah,
just
it
petty,
is.
man. And
It
this is
is.
somebody who's trying to run for president. This could literally be the
Oh,
next president.
oh yeah. He very well could be.
And
Which
that's
is
scary. If
sad.
this dude, if DeSantis, I almost he's almost worse than Trump, bro.
I would say
Because
he's
he's
worse than Trump in the sense that he's not a fucking idiot like Trump was, right? Like he's
that's what I'm
actually
saying. This
has
dude is like really
some
like getting
tact.
some of the stuff that he's gotten passed in
Yeah,
Florida is just beyond ridiculous, man.
yeah. He's Trump with a little bit more tact. Like Trump doesn't really have tact. His tact is just double down, right? And
Exactly.
if that doesn't work, back off, but then come back to doubling down. That's just really all he does. This is a guy who was born with a silver spoon up his ass. He doesn't know any better. He's not going to change. He's not. He's not. Right? He got like freaking the evangelical what's the Mike Pence as his VP, and people were like, "Oh yeah, well he has a religious guy there. Maybe he'll change." Nope. Why would he
That ain't mean
change? He
jack.
never had a change for like he's what 7 years old. He hasn't had a change. When he's going to change? So DeSantis is a little bit different, right? Um, so yeah, it's going to be fascinating to kind of see how this works out. There are two aspects of this, though. For starters, I think he's a piece of shit for doing this.
So
Let's start
so
there. He's
let
a
me
piece of
say
shit.
this too. Yes, he is a piece of shit. And that an example of that is this quote. We
Go
are
for it.
not a sanctuary state, and it's better to be able to go to a sanctuary jurisdiction. And yes, we will help facilitate that transport for you to be able to go to greener pastures. Every community in America should be sharing in the burdens. It shouldn't all fall on a handful of red states.
And this is what he's trying to make it about. This is exactly what he's trying to make it about. Red blue states.
I guess these people are a burden now.
Yeah.
These
This is
poor
what he's trying to make it about.
red states.
I wish we got rid of the electoral college so we can stop like dividing ourselves over red state versus blue state because it's really frustrating and annoying.
Well, that's how they keep themselves in power. I mean, that's
Oh yeah,
literally like,
absolutely,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
That
The
institution
electoral
right there definitely
college
needs to go.
and the filibuster are two really stupid things that benefit like the minority of people, right? Like nobody thinks like that, but we have to like deal with it because they have these filibuster proof. Like you have to get at least 60 votes, right,
Mhm.
to do that. Like Washington D.C. and Puerto Rico should have been states, the way I can see
Yeah.
it, right? But that's never gonna happen because of the power dynamic, right? And that's kind of the frustrating piece, part of it, as well. There are two parts of this though. What he's doing is like he's a piece of shit for doing this, but at the same time too, right? I read an article like years ago about a very progressive white liberal like audience in Maryland, right? And saying all the Black Lives Matter and all that stuff and everything and all that stuff. But when they proposed like a redistricting to have some black students come to their schools, right, so they can have better opportunity, they're like, no, 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 that's not. That should be in their district, whatever, right? So it's kind
Yep.
of calling some people out here, right? Like you can say you're like for immigration, but how much are you willing to do to actually be for that? So from that aspect, I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But this is not about that. This is just him being. I feel like the Republican Party is a party full of trolls. Like they don't really have any position. Their only position is to kind of they find happiness by angering like liberals, right? And liberals
Yeah.
kind of
Of course.
make them happy by being angry, right?
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
example, something as silly as wearing a mask, we can't do. Like not wearing a mask. I understand a vaccine. The vaccine I can understand. I disagree with you, but I can understand it. But a mask? You can't wear a mask? Like, come on. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, man. I mean, so far, like Texas has spent over $12 million busing immigrants to Washington and New York
taxpayer
as of
money.
August 9th. I think they're about to start sending people to Chicago
Mm-hmm.
as well. It's just all because they disagree with the president's tactics on immigration. But it's like,
And someone
that's
pointed this out too. I need to validate this, so don't take it too much. But they also did this during the civil rights era, like busing black people to like these other cities, so they don't like when they got their right to vote, they don't like corrupt their voting
yeah,
practices. Not so. It's very telling. Florida's going through a hurricane right now. Right, the reason why immigrants come there is because, right, for better to escape bad conditions there. Let's see how Floridians who escape like Florida, right? Them going to Georgia or other states, right? We'll
hmm
see how that goes, right? Um, on the topic of this too, I don't know if you read this. Italy just elected its most far right prime minister
yeah.
since World
I
War
did read
II.
about that.
Um, one of her things were like anti-immigration, anti-LGBT. I think she spoke at like CPAC or whatever. Um, yeah, and Italy again is kind of one of those like areas where they're in a situation where a lot of people like go there because they're very close, and there are wars in where are there wars like Sudan? There's wars there. There's a civil war going on, and I don't remember where. In Africa, there are multiple civil wars. Is it the Tigray area? I don't want to like misquote myself right now, but
Yeah,
yeah, like they kind of find themselves in that situation, and they're like, oh well, we don't want to like no more immigration and whatnot, right? So um, yeah, it's kind of frustrating um, to see that. One last thing on this one too. Do you know who Kami Lame is? Kami Lame. He's the
no.
most popular person on TikTok. Um,
Is that
like,
the black dude that was doing the dance?
not just dance. He doesn't say anything in his video. He just does this. That's all he does. Like in his videos. It's pretty funny. Actually, I can show you this guy like super quickly. Um, it is this guy, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Senegalese. He's a Senegalese immigrant who immigrated to Italy, so to speak. So again, super popular guy. He actually got his rise to fame after the pandemic, and he lost his construction job, right? Um, and he just started doing TikToks where all he's doing is like they have these overly complicated life hacks online, and he'll just say, "Oh, this is easy," and just like not even say a word, but like kind of shut him down. Exactly. And he's like the most popular. His story is just amazing to see. Every time I like see this guy like be successful, I'm super happy for him. That being said, though, he is an immigrant of Italy, right? And he
hmm
couldn't leave the country for a while because Italy has some really fucked up, like immigration laws, which they're about to get even more fucked up now
Yeah,
because
man.
this new prime minister they're about to have. So, I mean, it's interesting because we never learn as a society.
Pretty much.
We don't learn. We don't learn. Um, they're gonna find out sooner or later how fucked up that person is. Like these far right leaders, they never last. Like they get removed one way or another. Either they get voted out or war happens, and they get
Probably
removed.
war.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. So they better not be starting some shit, Italy. Just saying. So yeah. Speaking of war, Russia's getting their fucking asses handed to them right now. Just see
Good.
that shit.
Good.
Um,
I'm happy to hear it.
yeah. Well, I mean, this could also mean that Putin might escalate it a little bit in the sense that he already threatened using nuclear weapons.
I was just
Uh,
about to say that. Yep.
yeah, so that could be a problem. Also, it's about to be winter soon, and a lot of Europeans they're supporting Ukraine, but they also rely on Russian oil. to heat their own homes and stuff. So we're gonna see just how loyal they are to Ukraine in the next coming of months. Um,
Oof.
we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see how that works. This is gonna get cold as fuck up there. A lot of people are already
Yeah.
complaining about energy prices too because they're stupid expensive. Um, More reason why we need to go green, right? Seriously,
I
um,
hear you.
we need to
I
go
hear you,
green. We need to
man.
invest in nuclear energy and like yeah, we need to. It's not nearly as dangerous as it's made out to be. Um, and yeah, just yeah. But we'll see how that goes. Hmm. Cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, we got through our topics real quick.
I mean, it was two that were kind of deep, but not really.
Yeah.
I come back to the Ime Udoka thing, man, because I'm just like I just in disbelief about the whole thing, dude. Like I just like
Mia Long.
and the yeah, dude, that was I mean, I was literally that's all I could think. I was like,
Well,
damn, Nia Long, bro,
Jay Z
you real?
Jay Z cheated on Beyonce, right? You know,
Yeah,
so
there's
it's that.
there's a lot of temptation out there, man. I can tell you that. So I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you know.
Oh, also Adam Levine cheated on his wife.
So I
You
meant to
see
say
that
something
shit?
about that too. So somehow, let's talk about that though. Somehow,
This guy
Adam
was caught.
Levine,
She showed the text message like he slid in the woman's DMs.
but he,
He sexes her like a teenager. Apparently.
yeah, yeah. But the crazy thing is that like he gets caught cheating or whatever. Has he been vilified like this? No,
uh,
right? He kind of just somehow he
a
just
little
kind
bit.
of gets in front of it, and we're just kind of sweep that under the rug. Ime Udoka.
Oh, okay. That's a good point though, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, yeah. No,
You know
that's
what I'm
an interesting
saying?
point. Like, does a white person get as much vilification as a black person? Right. Um, Hardly ever.
I mean, look at
We could also talk about like Leonardo DiCaprio and him not dating a woman over the age of 25, which is fucking hilarious.
I mean, that's a personal choice. Look, if listen, he people look down on him for that, but it's not like these women aren't flocking to this dude anyway,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
true.
I that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's always like, oh, you're a terrible person for dating these underage girls, but they're not
Well, they're
underage
not
girls.
underage. They're
But
not
these
underage.
young, yeah, I'm gonna fix that. But for these young women, but they're clearly interested.
Yeah, no,
Right? So why is
it's
he the bad
funny.
guy? You know what I'm
I think
saying?
I think it's fucking hilarious. He's not
You
the bad
know.
guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think it's fucking hilarious.
You think Jada Pinkett Smith has been vilified as much as on the level of Ime Udoka?
She's definitely been made fun of. I think. Well, that's true. That's a good point. Who got it worse, Jada Pinkett or Will Smith? Right? Not
Well,
during
they
the
got it
Oscar
worse in
slap.
different ways. Look at how the reaction was. Will
Mhm.
Smith was just made fun of and made look like a a punk ass bitch, pretty much. Let's keep it real, right? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Meanwhile, Jada Pinkett is either A, they're laughing at them because she's wearing the pants in the relationship, she's running the relationship. Um, they vilify her some. Well, they don't really vilify her. It's just more like she had an entanglement. Haha. Like it's just all the joke. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But Will Smith, the man in the situation, you're a punk ass bitch. Look at what your woman did, right? So either you go that route as the guy, or Ime Udoka, you're a horrible person. You cheated on this beautiful woman, right? It's
I mean, he
the
does kind of suck for doing that,
and
though.
it's always like
Yeah.
we get nothing in the middle. You know what I'm saying? A
Well, I
woman's
mean,
either the victim
let's be honest.
or they big them up for running things. In
Yeah, but
Jada
let's be
Pinkett's
honest.
case,
10 years ago, the Ime Udoka situation probably wouldn't have been a thing, right? Keep in mind, Will Smith dated his executive, um, like the boss's daughter, right? Jeannie Buss. You didn't know this?
Will Smith,
Not Will Smith. Phil. Um,
Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson. Right, dated GD Bus. Right, while he was
Was
coaching the
he
Lakers.
married?
No, I'm just saying they had a consensual thing. I'm comparing this to Ime Udoka. Right, he wasn't
Oh,
married too. Right, but he had a consenting relationship with a
well,
coworker. Right.
I,
Um, so times are changing.
I
Right.
assume the
Um,
organization is different. Yeah, I mean, I guess different rules in the organization. That's another thing. So NBA, either we can have relationships in these organizations or you
no,
can't. I
I think
think
it's different per organization.
nah,
Um,
that needs to be a
Also,
league
the
thing in
timing's
my
a little bit
opinion, man.
different, I think. I think timing's different, right? Because that was
I
years ago.
guess. I
So
know, but you look at from what I'm seeing on some of the other podcasts we were talking about this stuff, especially like the ones that involve other athletes or whatever. They're basically saying like in the sports industry, people are getting it in. You know what I'm saying? So, um,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. Matt Barnes did say that. He was like, this man shouldn't be vilified. But then he turned around, he deleted that saying, and then because someone told him the fuel situation of like what's happening, and it's like, oh, never mind, like, f that guy. Again, we don't know. We
yeah,
honestly
yeah.
don't know. Um,
Again, I'm not trying to defend his actions, right? Because his actions are terrible, right? I mean, you cheat on your
Neil
fiance,
Long,
you're
Neil Long.
you have yeah, I mean, need I say more, right? But you have kids with this woman. You're supposed to be getting married and you're doing all that or whatever. But at the same time, like at least from what the general public knows, consensual relationship in an organization that didn't allow it, just fire these people and move on. I mean, honestly, like
Yeah, I did hear. So another guy, Kevin Blackistone, great guy.
I like him,
He
yeah.
said, yeah, he's great. He's from this area, right? He's a professor in University of Maryland. Is it University of Maryland? I think so. Anyway, he also talked about what did he say? Like possibly the reason why they didn't fire him was due to them trying to not get into a what is it? A legal situation, right? Like wrongful termination as well, right? Um, so there's kind of that. So maybe that buys them time to like buy out uh the contract his contract. I don't know. We shall
That
see.
doesn't even make sense. So I mean, that doesn't even make sense because again, the rules of the organization state that you can't have relationships, right, with
Hmm.
your coworkers. There has to be in those rules. There had to be consequences for breaking
Yeah.
them, right?
So
So I
what are the
mean,
consequences is the question, right?
this
Yeah.
is, they did a terrible job at this, man. Terrible
Yeah.
job.
I don't know. I don't know what they else could they have of done, but
Clearly, they could have consulted freaking Adam Levine because he's just fine. He's chilling. That man
yeah.
said, "I will
Oh.
never make this mistake again. I'm out." Right?
Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious. Oh my god, that's so
And
true
it's
though.
just a random. Evidently, the woman was just a random Instagram model. Um,
Yeah, he was like, "Man, your ass is so fine." I think he said in one of his like sexting things. I'm like,
and of course, what does the Instagram model say? At the time, I was young. I was naive. I was easily manipulated.
well,
So
I
he
mean, come
manipulated you into sleeping with him for a year.
on. Well, I mean, there's such thing as
Nah,
grooming. Grooming is a
nah.
thing, right? So
I'm sorry, man. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
that one's a little hard to believe. I'll give you that actually.
You're you know these people's situations, bro.
Well, I
Get out
mean,
of
if you're
here,
putting yourself out there and someone like responds, like, come on, and it's Adam Levine, all right,
man. Oh man.
but still, he should know better.
Oh, and then look, then what else was she said? My morals were unknowingly compromised. I was completely manipulated, but I had sent some screenshots recklessly to some friends that I trusted, and one I had attempted to sell them. So here I am. So evidently, that's how that story got out with Adam Levine.
Because she sent her screenshot to friends, and they were like, "Oh, let me sell these."
Try to sell it.
Well, for starters, you need to get some new friends.
And look,
For
and then
sure.
immediately, this is what's funny to me. This is happening amid the drama. Two
Mm,
more women came forward claiming that Levine had sent them flirty messages.
slid in the
So somebody
DMs.
was
Huh?
trying to capitalize on the situation. It just this is why I hate talking about some of this celebrity BS, man. But the
Yeah,
Ime
it's true.
Udoka thing was just because it's sports, and I'm in
Yeah,
sport, and I just hate seeing, you know, it's a black people thing, right? Like, I don't know how many comedians have said this, but it's like every time you watch the news, right, and you hear some crazy story, somebody such and such shot 10 people here and there. What is the first thing every black person says? Oh, please don't let him be black.
yeah, yes.
Right? This is what you
Truth, truth.
every time.
Yes, like oh god.
So when something like this comes out, this is why I'm so stuck on this, you guys, is that when
Yeah,
something like this comes out, there's not a lot of black coaches in the NBA. There's not a lot of black coaches in any of these in the
yeah,
professional sports leagues. So one, I'm happy to see them. I want them to succeed, which he was doing well. He had just went to the finals. Obviously, right? They still have a good team. And then something like this happened. It's just like, damn it, man. Why?
leave
Why?
me alone.
Leave it alone. But it's just, it's just
It did
hate to see it.
remind me of I put this in our private chat with the boys. The Touch the Sky video. Where it was Neil Long. And he's like, when you get on, he'll leave your ass for a white girl. Okay, we don't know who this person is, but at the same time, he's like,
Oh
"Do you
my
know who I
God.
am? Do you know who I am? I'm Neil Long. Get
I know who
it."
you are. Believe that. I know that.
Oh my
Mm-mm-mm.
god, that is so funny.
I'm crushing on Nia Long forever, man.
We all have. We all have. Yeah. So, well, I do wish her the best, though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She is a mom, first and foremost, so it's probably just got to be just tough for her and her kids, being put in a bad situation, right? She has to do what's best for not for her, but for her kids as well.
Man.
So,
At the end of the
definitely,
day, y'all, grass is not greener. It's not.
usually never is. Um,
So,
Question to you though: did you hear about the Brett Favre situation? I forgot to even mention this.
dude, that's another one.
I forgot to mention this shit. Like, I can't believe we missed this one. Like on our pre-chat. Like, uh, fuck, this fucking guy sucks. Oh, by the way, who this guy did send a limp dick pic to a reporter. He did. Oh, you
What?
didn't know the story. He did when he was with the New York Jets for like a year. Right, he sent like a dick pic to a reporter, um, which is just
We just out here looking very lame, bro.
yeah.
Very lame.
Well, I mean, this guy also again, it's just kind of just some really piece of shit to work. Like again, Colin Kaepernick has been vilified, right? He's not playing again
Of course.
in the NFL. This fucking guy, and this guy, let's be honest, this guy's an evangelical Christian Trump supporting dude, right?
He's definitely a conservative
Yeah, he's
person for
everything I
sure.
just said, right? So the fact that he's stealing freaking money from uh from welfare essentially to build like a stadium or something or like a something for his daughter. I didn't know like the full story of this. Um yeah, it's just sad, right? You know what he's gonna do? What they always do is they're gonna say, "Oh, I prayed to God for forgiveness, and I hope you guys forgive me too." Right? It's like what?
Yeah,
But
man.
it works for them. Like,
He evidently he received. You know, I had to Google it, man, because I got to receive. Favre received $1.1 million intended for welfare recipients. Excuse me, in exchange for speeches and appearances, the state auditor says he never made. Um, and text messages included in some court filings because he's being sued by the state of Mississippi show that Favre was heavily involved in discussions that resulted in $5 million in welfare money going toward the construction of a volleyball facility at his alma mater where his daughter plays volleyball. We got problems, man, because you have to remember. I think I'm in the right state here, but Mississippi is also where they're having that water issue,
oh yes,
right?
Jackson, Mississippi. No, you're absolutely right. Yep.
So, with all the things that you have happening in your state, sir, you redirect these funds meant for people who clearly aren't as well off as you
Yeah.
for a freaking volleyball stadium. It's
Hmm.
disgusting, man. He needs to
Yep.
be arrested.
Yeah. A lot, as long as this dear leader, Trump, Donald Trump, but we'll get into that later.
Again, while we do this podcast together, the views expressed are not necessarily shared by both of us. So,
You don't think Donald Trump should be should be in jail too? Is that what I'm hearing? Yeah,
I'm just saying, I'm talking about Brett Favre.
yeah.
I'm not giving him. I'm not giving any time, any airtime to that man.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we're at the end. I know, like, we're gonna say not talk about like Game of Thrones and She-Hulk, but I kind of want to talk about Game of Thrones a little bit for a couple
Next
minutes.
week, man. Next week.
Yeah.
Next week. I mean, there's a lot to talk about there. We got Andor, which I only saw the first episode of.
What do you think of
Um,
Andor? Tell me what you think.
Again, I've only seen one episode, but I'm very intrigued. It looks
Okay.
like, I mean, a Star Wars spy thriller, I think, is a pretty dope way to
Concept.
go.
Yeah.
Um, somebody wrote, as I actually read an article not too long ago saying that Star Wars needed to move beyond the Jedi, which I think is like the worst idea ever. The Jedi are Star Wars. But I like seeing these side stories.
I kind of agree with that though.
Hmm.
Oh,
We can
they're too
discuss that next week.
powerful.
Get the fuck out of
They
here.
are too powerful.
Too
Like,
powerful. There are weak Jedi and there are strong Jedi. How are they too powerful?
yeah, but like you could like you want to follow a weak Jedi like his storyline?
Depends on
No,
Cal
don't do
Kestis.
not don't
Look at
start with me.
it. Depends on
You
the
want
story.
a Luke
No,
Skywalker story.
he
They've
deserves
been
one. He's the
complaining.
greatest Jedi of all time. Yes, he
Yeah, of
deserves
course.
it.
So you
Yes,
don't
he's the
want to
greatest
follow.
Jedi of all time.
You're not trying to follow weak Jedi though. I'm just
It
saying.
depends on the story, man. It depends on look at Cal Kestis. Hey, I know you played that game.
Okay.
What's that Star Wars game? Oh man, hold on. Hold on.
I haven't played any Star Wars game. Just to let you know, I did buy one for my cousin, well, for my nephew, who I'm sure never played it. I know what Star Wars game you're talking about though.
Jedi
Um,
Fallen Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Okay?
Fallen Order.
It's not like
Yeah, I
this
can
dude
play that
is
one.
a powerhouse, right? But he has a good story behind him.
Yeah, that's a
As
game.
long as the story is good, I don't care if the Jedi that we're talking about is like the most powerful. And that doesn't matter to me. Look at Star Wars Rebels and what's the kid on there? Ezra Bridger.
Ezra.
He ain't no powerhouse. It's a damn good show though. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Well, I think a better thing to make your point is Batman. Right? No, this makes your point, right? He's not. He's one of the smarter people. He's not as strong as Superman, but he still gets his shit done.
Bro, we're
Right?
talking about Jedi, man. No,
This guy.
no. Yeah, no.
I'm telling you, Star Wars fans are freaking incorrigible, man. Jesus with this shit.
They're not. We're having a debate about whether or not the Jedi should continue to be the focus of the story. if we're talking about Star Wars, you're talking about the Force. You're talking about the Force. You're talking about Jedi. Okay,
That's
boom.
how it's been, but isn't
I'm
how it
happy
has
to
to
have
be.
side stories like the Mandalorian, classic stuff. You know what I'm saying? But
This man wants his Luke Skywalker show.
dude, hey, I'm on the, I'm out there like reading all the rumors, right? So
Too bad it's never gonna happen.
supposedly, supposedly, maybe
Hopefully,
we'll be getting something with Luke Skywalker, dog.
one day. It depends on how well they
Needs to
improve their
happen.
deep fake. Like they got to
Needs to
improve it
happen.
much more.
Hey, for
I
now, I'm
like.
happy. You know what? I mean, Ahsoka Tano isn't the most powerful Jedi either. Love her character, love her,
No, we haven't gotten a series for her yet.
love Rosario Dawson too.
We'll see. Yeah,
But
Rosario Dawson.
it's coming. Hers is coming though.
Yeah, it's
That's
coming
the one
soon.
I've been looking for. Like, did
I'm interested
whoever's
to see
running
how
the
people
show
are
is like they
going
should have.
to kind of take that because we've seen people bash Miss Marvel. We're seeing people bash She-Hulk, right? I'm
Yeah, I
kind
don't
of
get it.
curious to see how this works. We've seen people bash Rose from Star Wars, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker, or something like
Well,
that.
they didn't do anything with the character. I'm not really sure what there is to bash.
Well, no, they complained about her in the first the the Last Jedi, right? And they just didn't. I guess they didn't like her character. The trolls are so bad. Your Star Wars guys, like
Don't
chased her
do
off.
that, man.
So
Don't do
I'm
that because
messing
I
with you.
wasn't.
I'm messing with
They
you. I'm messing
they
with you.
didn't do enough with the character, and they tried to force her like romantic connection with Finn. Fuck out of here with that.
Yeah,
Get out of here, man.
that was really weird and awkward. That
What?
was super weird and awkward. I don't know which was worse, that random kiss for her, or the kiss that Ray gave like Kylo Ren out of like nowhere.
What?
I'm like, what are we doing? You know what I'm
This-
saying? Oh well.
you know.
Oh well. Well, it is past Nicholas's bedtime.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't even have a bedtime. This kid is up like every freaking 2 hours. What is bed? What is sleep? I don't know.
Sleep is for the weak.
I'm trying, man.
Sooner or later, he's gonna get older and get a normal schedule. So.
But actually, speaking of that, I actually have to go get the baby. So, yeah.
All right. So, and on that note, thank you guys for watching. Again, remember to like, comment, subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch. Are you? Oh, I think it's your shit. It wasn't my shit. I think Nicholas is frozen, y'all. I need to take a screenshot of this shit.
You rat bastard.
Did you hear what it said?
I heard the end of it. I don't know if people heard me talking or they heard you talking. So I was like, I guess that's it.
We got to find out soon. We're gonna have to watch the playback. Man, remember
God.
back in the day when my shit used to freeze all the time, and that doesn't happen anymore because I built this bad boy.
Dude, you froze.
I did not freeze. You froze. I did not freeze. You froze. I can tell because
actually I got no. I got one of the message said one of the streams froze. So I guess one of our channels froze or something.
Yeah. Well, the thing looked at your internet and it said that your internet was weak. You know how sometimes Zoom has like wobbly internet.
I got full bars. I don't even want to hear that shit.
I had full bars too. Look, we're just gonna watch this shit and I'm gonna replay this shit and like we'll see.
Exactly. All right.
I would bet right now, but I haven't been really successful with bets with you recently, so
don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. All right, man.
I'll win more bets one day. Have a good one, man. See ya.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.